What's up, you guys? This is your girl, Twilight, and I am following up on a video response from one of my patrons that I want to put out there because maybe someone else has the same question. And I want to be very clear. First, let's establish the precedence that I am not one of these phony baloney Zen pimps, okay? I'm not peddling Zen to get you to buy my course or come to my retreat. I'm not going to pretend that I live in complete bliss all the time because that is not the case. And I think that anyone who is well learned will understand that for the most part, you will not have complete control over your environment, but what you have control over is your interior position juxtaposed to the external environment, for which we often do not control. And that there is more to this energetic ecosystem than our individual thoughts alone. We are a part of a collective consciousness, which means that other people's energies affect us. We are under different spells of witchcraft, and mind control, and various different other external elements that play into our overall experience. So often when we talk about moving forward in healing, people are heavily fixated on the things that they've learned from the law of attraction. And the law of attraction, as it turns out to be, is truly masked as a marketing tool as the law of vibration. The law of attraction is actually just sounds better. You know what I mean? It's a better marketing tool than saying the law of vibration. But if you understand the 7 universal laws, there's actually 12, but mostly we note 7. The law of vibration is one of the more important ones, and I'm going to explain to you why. So Miami asks, if all is mind and thoughts become things, and what we believe most comes to manifest, does that mean the very fact that I think I need healing causes me to actually need healing? That's a great question. Now let's go ahead and look at the law of vibration and what does it mean? So here it says, in the law of vibration, there is a connection between your feelings, what you attract to yourself, and the results you get in life. The vibration or feeling you are in leads to the actions you take, and your actions create the results you experience in your life. All right, now let's talk about spiritual bypassing. Spiritual bypassing is a way of hiding behind spiritual or spiritual practices. It prevents people from acknowledging what they are feeling and distances them from both themselves and others. Now, why is this important? Because when we have experiences as children, as adults, when we are children, we are in a developmental phases. And much of what we take on is our parents' point of view of the world. And even in our spirit, knowing that our point of view is more in alignment with what is truly what truly speaks to our soul, we will try to take on what our parents say because they are authority figures over us. Whether or not it is truly our own individual nature is in question. Prior to antiquity, the elders and leaders would locate within each child their purpose. And based on their purpose, they would show them how to unmask that purpose and bring it to its full potential. Today, we are batched and collated and on an assembly line of consciousness. Go to school, get out of school, get a good job, go to work, rack up debt, buy a house, live miserably and comfortably, die, go to, or before you die, make sure you go on a couple trips a year, have kids, etc., etc. We are indoctrined and programmed to operate as sheep and not to have individuality. So because of that, it is so easy for us to step back into a role that makes us feel comfortable. Shadow work is uncomfortable. Any fucking body that told you that spiritual inner work was easy is a liar. You cannot experience all these emotions that are contrary to what you have been taught and not go through some inner turmoil. That's why I say I'm not one of these phony baloney Zen people who are going to tell you that if you just think positive, everything is going to be okay. I'm one of the people that tell you what is in your vibrational recipe is what you are going to manifest, regardless of if you acknowledge it or not. So what do I mean by vibrational recipe? When you are a child and you are being developed, if you go through strong traumatic events and you suffer from some form of PTSD or lack of development or even just emotional pain that you have suppressed, thinking positive will not override that situation, because there is a part of you that needs to be acknowledged. That part of you is probably something that you have disowned in your journey. And because you have disowned that part of you, it becomes very agitated. It is like boiling water on a stove. Beneath the surface, you have this strong, dense, heavy energy that is boiling and festering beneath the surface. And then on the surface, you're living a happy, zen, and carefree life. Well, when you sit down to manifest your desires, what happens is your dominant point of attraction is what takes precedence over your thoughts. See, thoughts are simply just electrical impulses that goes out into the universe. Emotions is energy in motions. And I would argue that people of high melanin content would tend to operate more from their emotional bodies than they would their actual thoughts. Okay? Thoughts is part of that, though it sends electrical signals into the universe, but your subconscious mind is doing way more work, 99% of the work, than your conscious mind. So what you consciously desire and want has to be in alignment with the energetic space that you've created within yourself. So how can you create a positive energetic space within yourself when you disown parts of you? When you look at the things that are undesirable about you and say, I'm just going to disregard that and move that away. That still holds a vibrational frequency. That still has an energetic space in your body. It is still connected to your emotional memory. And so when you go to manifest, you're wondering why you are putting out contradictions, why certain things are not happening for you, because you've chosen to not acknowledge the things that you have chosen to disown. This is where shadow work comes into place. Because now as you are performing that shadow work, you're bringing up those uncomfortable emotions. Now, the first human response is, oh, this is so uncomfortable. I don't like it. I don't like the way this makes me feel. We don't dig deeper. Digging deeper beyond the surface gives us a cue of what that part of us needed that we did not get. And the reason why that part of us is so agitated. I will give you an example. Say, for example, that you went through a time period where you had a parent that was a abuser of substances, and you learned to compartmentalize and never get close to anyone. So said parent did not show you nurturing love and affirmation But here you are, you've learned to compartmentalize. Well, you're successful in your life. You're financially successful. You focused on finance. You are, you have tons of friends and connections, and you're living a status filled life which seems successful to all the people around you, but you cannot maintain a healthy relationship to save your life because you do not know how to emotionally connect authentically and genuinely. Why? Because you disowned a part of yourself, the part of you that needed nurturing, the part of you that needed love, the part of you that needed validation. You disown that part. And sure, you're successful in a material way, but you yearn for a loving relationship and you don't even know how to connect with someone authentically simply because you disown that part of you. But you go and you talk to your phony baloney Zen person who tells you thoughts become things, think positive. So you're thinking positive, you're not dealing with the things of the past, the energy of the past. It's too uncomfortable. So you're thinking positive and you meet someone, okay? And everything's going fine for a while. But when it comes time to meet them in a deeper level of intimacy, you can't meet them there because, get this, write this down. You haven't met yourself deeply enough. You haven't met yourself deeply enough, right? You're positive, you're fun, you're successful, but you cannot make deep, intimate connections. You withdraw. You're distant. You can't allow yourself to truly trust. And now you're right back where you started. But had you done the shadow work to see what that person needed, which is your inner child, you would have then developed a plan of reparenting yourself, whereby you would have given the inner child that is screaming for your love the reparenting affection and energy that you were looking for when you were a child. Instead of being so embarrassed by the fact that you have to admit to yourself you have this huge contradiction and huge asterisk by your name, instead of being embarrassed about it, you face it. And it's uncomfortable and it hurts because it puts you back in a position of weakness and you've patterned your life off of strength. So now you're back in this space of vulnerability. But all of a sudden it clicks for you. Vulnerability is strength. So now you're making another power move, except now you're making an emotional power move. You reparent yourself. You give yourself the love that you needed at that time. You go through the different modalities of therapy or counseling or spiritual coaching. And now energetically, when you want to align to something that is deeper and more fulfilling, you have the vibration to align to it. And you're not bypassing by feeding yourself constant mantras of zen, 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 think good thoughts. You go deeper into your emotional body, and now you are connected to and you are a frequency match for the reality that you desire. This is why we do shadow work. Not to make ourselves uncomfortable and turn our lives upside down and topsy-turvy and be in depression. It is so that we can stop disowning parts of ourselves. So we can give ourselves the fulfillment and the love that we truly need beneath the surface in order to align to the reality that we wish to create. I hope this helps, Miss Miami. Peace, healing, love, and keep doing what you're doing.